Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Are you guys lost with our new spreadsheet with all these different things like classes and all these numbers on here? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go over all this and we're going to show you everything that is new. Let's get into it. All right, so now I'm going to go over the old stuff here soon. I need to get over this for the people that haven't seen the older videos, guys. So right now, if you saw the original document, these values haven't changed. Some of you have seen this document, which is kind of the document 2.0 version, and now the current document that we have here is 3.0. So 2.0 didn't have giant stagger, your classes, and there's a couple other sheets down here that wasn't on it. You had different links for that. So now we're going to combine it into one shortcut. So that way you can have all the access to all the different documents in one link. I think that's very convenient. So here we go. So attack difference. This is 2581 was our base stat that is for attack and defense. So if you see the defense difference between 2581 is 0, the attack difference is 0. So therefore you have a 0% attack difference, 0% defense difference. That being said, if you look at the attack stat, if instead of you did 2581, you actually did less damage to your opponent, then that means your attack is lower. So that would mean negative whatever that amount is. Now, we do have this color coded for the attack difference here and the percentages. So for example, if the attack is higher, it's going to be in blue, and if it's lower, it should be in red. Now, same thing goes for defense, right? It's just inverse, right? So instead of higher is better for attack, however, lower is better for defense. So for example, if a character would normally do 2,581 damage to you, but it does 2,839 damage to you, then your defense is lower. So you have a 10% decrease, and this is your stat difference between this and 2581. So now moving on to health. Sorry, I'm brushing over this, guys. I know a lot of you guys already know this information from the last video. I'm just getting all the information for the newer guys that didn't watch the old videos, so that way we can get everyone up to speed. So I'm gonna quickly try to go over this. So we have health. This is how much health they have. Their health points are exactly this amount for every character we went through, and some characters have half health. We went through and updated them, so they are 100% up to date. Now, if you look at our effective health, what this does is this is your health after you apply your defense. So, for example, H is or K is divided by H. So K is your health value, and H is your defense value. So you would take your health and you would divide it by your defense. Essentially, that would give you how many combos a person would have to do to kill you. So then what you would do is you would take that number, how many combos that a person would need to do to kill you, and you would multiply it by our denominator, which will give you the overall stat. So that means that if a character did the same amount of combos to kill you, but they had the base number of attack power, then they would have to do this much damage instead of your health in order to kill you. So then you can take this number, which we already did all the math for you guys. I'm just showing you how we got the math. We already did all the math for you guys. So if you're not like a math nerd, then you don't have to do it because it's already done for you. But here's where you would have to do math if you want to know the answer to something. For example, this right here is for Ultra Instinct Goku, Mastered Ultra Instinct, and let's say the Goku GT was doing a 5x to him. So like, let's say a full rush chain from base form Goku GT onto Ultra Instinct Goku. What you would do is you would take this number and you would divide it by the number they have here. So you would divide it by their attack stat. Then it will give you the effective health divided by the attack stat of the character that you want to know. It would give you how many combos it would take them to kill you, essentially. Then you would take that number of combos and you would multiply it by the standard defense stat or standard attack stat. I'm sorry, the standard attack stat, which is the same thing. So either way you want to look at it, and then that will give you the exact amount of 5-hit damage that they would do to you. So, for example, and that being said, like even if you did that, there's a lot of decimals that you don't see here. That this number is rounded off. Like, well, that one's not, but for example, this one is. So these numbers are rounded up to the whole number. And so what that does is it means that you're going to be really close, but you might be off by a couple points. Like, for example, plus or minus 4 damage, right? But it's going to get you really close. So, and that's just because we didn't want to have like a 10-digit number string here with decimals. We just wanted it whole numbers because it does get you extremely close. All right, dash cost. This is how many bars of key it takes essentially to dash over how much time. I don't know what the editing team did on this one. I'll have to review them, but you can compare each character to see if they, for example, takes more key or less key than other characters in order to dash around. So like take this for example. So it seems that our median is 0.265. That's normal, right? And then you have this one right here at 125, which is Evil Boo, which is also a speed character. So you know that speed characters, and this shows you skill users, take less key to dash around. I think there's one even lower than that. Where is... I swear there was... What is this one? Kakunza and Dispo. So I mean, these are speed characters as well. So interesting to note, it just shows you how little key that it takes. Okay, so that's cool. Starting key, this is how many bars of key you start the game with. Like this character that is Majin Vegeta starts with 5 bars of key. I had no idea about that because a lot of my editing team does this stuff and we copy and paste it over. So I don't know all the data, but anyways, this is how much damage one Ki Blast does to a base form Goku from Dragon Ball Super. So that's what that is. The Paralyze is, so this is all the Ki Blast stuff, right? This is all key stuff. So this is Charge Ki Blast. Does it paralyze? Does it not paralyze? We're actually going to change this right now because that is confusing. So we're going to change this to Charge Key. So we'll do that right there. Okay. Now, so yeah, that's if they charge. So for example, this character has Charge Ki Blast. So that is Chaozu. So yep. Now, the next stat is really useful. It's called attack multiplied by effective health. So essentially what we did is we took the effective health of a character, so let's just take UI Goku, and we multiply it by their attack stat to get this stat. Now this stat is just basically how effective this character is overall. It's an extremely accurate stat, so you can sort this column by going to data, sort sheet, and sort. I'm not going to do it because these people right here might not like the fact that I'm changing the way it looks like while they're doing whatever they're doing. So essentially that is how you get the overall stats of a character. It's so useful. Now starting skill points, right? Like this is how many skill points a character will start the game with. For example, this character, which is Goku Teen, he starts with 2. This character, Kid Gohan, I'm sorry, is it? Yeah, Kid Gohan starts with 1. So for example, just certain characters, this is Roshi, starts with 2 and 2, and this one starts with 3. Have no idea who it is, Mr. Satan. Yeah, so it tells you how many skill points each character starts with. This is a very useful number because this is your attack effective health divided by your DP number. So here's your DP number. So these are all your DPs. And this right here is basically this number divided by its DP value to show you how valuable it is per DP. So yeah. And then the next thing, we have a switch timer. Just so you guys know, the switch timer is directly correlated with your DP count. So all characters with the same DP will have the same switch timer. So there's that. And then we have miscellaneous. So miscellaneous, for example, super movement, high speed movement. Okay, so just so you guys understand what that means, it means if you're in sparking and you're moving normally just using the left stick and you're kind of far away from your opponent, and then you hit guard, that is called high speed movement. It will make you teleport in the direction that your stick is facing. Now, super movement is essentially the same thing when you're dragon dashing. So if I dragon dash to my opponent and I hit guard, I can teleport in the direction that my stick is pointing. Infinite Ki Blast. So infinite Ki Blast means that you have no limit on how many Ki Blasts that you can shoot at one time. I mean, you can run out of ki, right? So there is a limit for that, but there's no limit to how many in a row you can shoot. Put it that way. Scouter, for example, means that this character has the Scouter class, which is essentially you can find your enemies faster. I shouldn't say class, not really a class, but it's a benefit. Sword, there's several different benefits to this, one being the charge ki blast is unblockable. And yeah, so we have just, grounded means that they, slowly fall as they're in the air. Okay, so anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys get what most of this is. Let me see if I health drain grab. If you grab them, you can drain their health. I'm trying to go over this kind of quickly. Let's see, auto ki charge, super movement, high speed movement. That should be self-explanatory. Super armor, for example. So it just shows all of their abilities. Now let's go over to our character classes. All right, so now everyone's caught up on this document. Now we are going over the information that is for everybody. So even the guys that used to know the document, now we want to know. All right, so we have all these character classes. We made them different colors so that way it's easier to see who's what. And what do these classes mean? Actually, I should get into a second. Let's do our giant staggers because that's going to kind of segue us into the next sheet. So giant stagger, this is how many hits this character has to do in order to stagger a super armor character or a giant. So this, Super Saiyan God, it's 1 hit. This character's 3 hits. This character's 4 hits. So far. Yeah. All right. So now we go over classes. Now, what do these classes mean? These classes are multipliers for your base stats. Now, the next sheet that we're going to go over is not that. So this right here is kind of, how can I say this? This is data that we have derived from gameplay. The next sheet we're going to show you is derived from the source code of the game. Okay, so there's no discrepancies in the next one. However, we don't fully understand it either. So these are your classes, and you can go over here to character classes in order to see what it does. So we can see that the normal class basically has no multipliers on it at all. Let me go over here. So this is all 1 times multiplier and 0 damage increase for your smashes, rushes. So it's basically 0, right? Power class, you can see it has an attack modifier. It has a ki blast damage modifier so it does less ki blast, but it does more attack. I think these modifiers are averages over your rush, smash, combo attack. So that's how we derive from this. Let's see if they put a note on. They did not. But before we go over this, if this got confused, we might actually take this out, by the way. But this right here is what the game code says it is. So if we're looking at the game code, This is its classification. You can see Ki Blasts are slightly different. There was like 5 or 6 in here that we deleted because they are unused. We just didn't want to confuse people because there are classes that are no character in the game has, but they are in the source code. So we didn't want to, yeah. Then the Mecha Normal and Mecha Power. So this is, I think Mecha Normal is Jiro, and this is Android 19. Those are the only characters that go with this. So these are key drain androids, and Normal and Power. And maybe there'll be future ones in the future, and they'll use these classifications. But yeah, this is literally all the data from these classifications. I don't know all of the data. I know most of the data. So yeah, just some interesting stuff to I'm gonna brush over this real quick because maybe later on I'm going to make an entire video about this document, because we could literally sit here all day long and figure out damage multipliers and stuff. This is off the base stats to get your final answer, but it does show you, if you look at the classification of the character that you like to play, it shows you what they're weak against. Like for example, you could go to damage resist. Combatives, this is like your melee attacks. Energy, that is like Ki Blast and supers, right? So certain characters take more damage from Ki Blast and supers than others. So some characters take more from melee damage than others. So certain characters have better stats in some things than others. So for example, your rush attacks, a speed character, that's not a good example. Where's Giants? Let's go with Giants. So Giants, right? They have a 0.2 rush attack. However, they have a 2.5 smash attack. And that's where you see like a lot of people using smash attacks and throws, and that lines up because these have the biggest multipliers. These are where all the damage are. So you can kind of see what your class character is good at depending on which class you choose. So this data is extremely useful for that. We haven't figured out everything because this is literally just game data pulled from the source code and put into a spreadsheet for you guys. So we haven't understood, we don't understand every single one, but we do understand most of them. So let's go over this one. This right here is actually going to have another document added to it, which I'll show you guys right now. So this document is going to be added to it. This is a list of every skill in the entire game. So for example, it's going to show you what type it is, if it's unblockable, what the cost is it interruptible, is there a cutscene, what are all the buffs, does it give you super armor, all that. I'm probably going to add another layer to this, and it's going to say description, and we're going to put like a quick description on it. Then you can go over here, and these are all the blasts in the game, and it goes over, is it a blast, ultimate? I'm going to take out skill because these used to be on the same page, now they're on 2 different pages. And we're going to go through and make sure type, ultimate, is it blockable? That's just an editor over here. Charge or boostable, cost, punishable, interruptible, cutscene, base damage. Yeah, so we're going over all that for you guys. And then where this is going to get really interesting is these vague codes and specific codes, because so for example, if you had an explosive wave, right? But like Hero's Flute, right? Like right here, if we go down to H's, Hero's Flute, this is explosive wave, but it doesn't have the name explosive wave. So if you go back to this document and you typed in Control Find, Control F, and then you hit explosive wave, right? It's not going to show up as Hero's Flute. So those vague codes and specific codes are going to be able to search all of these skills and supers and give you the exact skill or super with the exact same effect. Like, so it disregards the name and searches by effect instead of name. So that way you can search every character with that skill or super, or blast, I should say, that skill or blast depending on its effect. Now, specific codes will specifically look up exactly identical blast and skills, and then vague codes will look up the roundabouts, like for example all explosive waves in the game, or all instant sparkings in the game. Those would be vague. Specific would be all the instant sparkings with a 2 attack and 2 defense multiplier. So that would be more specific. Yeah. Anyways, that right there is what we are working on there. And we have the items. So this items chart is essentially, hold on one second. So this items chart is essentially, oh, I'm moving stuff around. Come on now. There we go. Okay. This is all the items in the game. This is the capsule number it is. This is the stars it is. This is the color. This is the price. This price or how to get it. And this is the effect of each item. So that way you guys can come in here and see any effect of any item. And I have a whole tier list on it. If you care to see that, it's on my YouTube. But yeah, so these are the 4 sheets that we put into one. This is what we have for supers and blasts coming up soon. And we have, I mean, we're working on stuff every single day, but I hope this helps you guys. If you guys have any more questions about these documents, please leave it in the comments below so that way I know what to inform the public on, because most of the time if you have a question, other people have similar questions. So I would like to address as many people as I can at one go. But other than that, guys, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for all your support. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers. I mean, that's amazing to me because I think I was at 300 2 weeks ago. So the growth is insane, and I really could not have done it without you guys. I really appreciate you guys. If y'all want to join our Discord, we have a Discord right now, and I'm always in it. So if you go in there, you'll probably see me in general chat. I mean, chances more than not. I mean, we host tournaments and we do other things. I don't know if you watch Treants. He's a YouTuber, an amazing fighter. He's in there too. He's one of my administrators. So yeah, go check out his channel too. He's a great player. But other than that, guys, I'm pretty much done. Like I said, just let me know what y'all think in the comments below, and I will talk to y'all later.